In this video, I'm going to cover how to navigate the project that you've opened using your selection tool, a zoom tool, and the hand tool. So right now on the left hand toolbar, you see that I have this move tool selected. Now up here at the top, you have the different options for this move tool. And right now I have auto select, layer selected, and then the show transform controls option. If I uncheck this show transform controls option, I don't see that bounding box around this image that I've selected. See how I turn that on and off? I don't really know when you would want to have that off because I always like to see the edges of my image so that I can click and drag them to move them around or to resize. If I don't have this auto select button selected and I try to select different layers on my project, see I still have the subscribe button, I can't select it just by clicking. I have to actually go over to my layer panel over here and select that layer before I can move it around or resize it. And then go back and select. And then after you do any changes of resizing or moving layers around, you typically have to press the return key or the enter key on your keyboard to place and save those edits that you just made. And then if I want to go back to my image, I can't do that. I have to click my profile pic. But with this auto select button on, I can just go between the two layers or any layers that you have on your project. So that's the first thing, just moving around layers, resizing. Understand that you should have auto select and layer on and show transform controls checked. You might have to zoom in or zoom out of your project. And we learned in one of the earlier lessons that you can see the zoom percentage down here. Right now we're at 66%. If I go to 100%, wow, that was 1000. If I go to 100%, this is the full quality of this image based off of the resolution of my monitor. If you have a higher resolution monitor, this might actually look a little bit smaller. Or if you have a lower resolution, this might look even bigger. If I put this at, let's say, 500, what you see is that this image starts to get pixelated. And that will happen if you're zoomed in anywhere further than 100. Another way to zoom in or zoom out is by using the zoom tool, which is this magnifying glass right here. So if I click that and then click on my image, I can zoom in to wherever I click. I can zoom out by choosing the minus magnification up here and clicking wherever, and it zooms out from where I click. Or what you can do, I went back to the zoom in button. Or what you can do is while you have the zoom in button selected, you can use the modifier key on your keyboard, Option or Alt. If you're on a PC, it's Alt. If you're on a Mac, it's Option. And you see what happens when I do that. It brings up the minus or zoom out magnification tool. So I can then just zoom out easily. So I can just quickly zoom in, zoom out without having to click this button up here. I also don't have to click and type in any numbers right here. Say I zoomed in right here to this guy's left eye, but I actually wanted to move around over to his ear. I can then use this hand tool. So by clicking the hand tool, I can actually move around the project. I'm not actually moving the image, I'm just moving around the project. And this might be more apparent if I zoom out. So if I use this hand tool and I move it around, I'm not actually moving the image, it's just moving around the project. And this helps me get to other parts of the image to edit or to do whatever. Now, a quick and easy way to do this, say I have my magnification tool selected. If I don't want to go over and click the hand tool and move around, I can just press the space bar on my keyboard. And while holding that down, I have the hand tool open, and then I can move around wherever I want. I can also do this when I have the select tool. I don't want to click and move this because this is actually moving the image itself. I just want to use the hand tool to move around. So just by pressing the space bar on your keyboard, you can actually click and drag and move around while that space bar is held down without moving the actual image. So these are just a couple of tools to get to. And these, of course, all have hotkeys or shortcuts that I encourage you to play around with. Instead of to get back to the Move tool, V is a keyboard shortcut that you need to know. It's one that you'll use most often. If you have any of these tools, if you're using any of these tools, you can just press V to get back to your Move tool. The Zoom tool is Z on your keyboard for zoom. So I can just go between V and Z very easily. If I want to just go straight to the hand tool, I can press H. And now I'm locked into the hand tool until I go back to the Move tool or to another tool. And if you want to know what the keyboard shortcuts are for any of these tools, just hover over, and then the little window pop-up has the title of that tool and then the letter or the key that you need to press for that keyboard shortcut. So this is a lesson that I hope will help you become more efficient with moving around your project, zooming in, zooming out. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, we'll just see you in another lesson.